Hello, all you lovely listeners. Welcome back. Or if this is your first time tuning in, thank you for joining the Nail Bites podcast presented by Divine Nails, where we will be diving into the vibrant world of nails. I am your always cheerful host, Devaney Hitton. So let's dive right in, okay? Today we're going to be talking about nail files. This is going to be part one of a series talking about the secrets you need to know before visiting your local nail salon. All right. First of all, when you go to a nail salon, there are things that your nail technicians, the salon managers, the salon owners are all privy to, but you don't know. Is it really a secret? It's a secret because we know it and you don't know it. So I'm here to divulge the secret so you can know it too. And we can all be in the same boat. All right? When you go to your local nail salon, you go in, you're expecting to leave with your nails flawless and everything to go perfect. However, there are precautions that the nail techs need to take in ensuring that you have a safe, secure, and wonderful service while you're attending their salon. Okay? So, what things are these? Well, let's talk about it. I'm going to touch on 5 things today. First, we're going to talk about sterilizing those implements. What are implements? Your clippers, your cuticle cutters, all those metal instruments that your nail tech uses on your hands are called implements, and they need to be sterilized. When do they need to be sterilized? They need to be sterilized after every use. So after use on one client, they should be washed, then sterilized. Let me repeat that again. After use, excuse me, after use on one client, they need to be washed and sterilized. Um, who has time to wash implements in between each client? No nail tech does. We don't. We you know what I'm saying? When it gets busy, we don't have time to stop and wash and sterilize the implements, which is why every technician should have several sets of implements so that we're not stopping to wash and sterilize. And we can't do it. It takes time. We have to wash the implements. After we wash the implements, they need to be sterilized in barbicide for 10 minutes. So imagine if I'm taking 10 minutes in between each client. That doesn't sound very productive now, does it? No. So every technician should have several sets of implements so that they can continue with the service one client after another, one client after another. At the end of the day is when I'm taking my implements and I'm washing them and I'm sterilizing them. Now, if you see that your technician is reusing implements on a customer before you or a customer after you, that's a no-no. That's a no-no. That means if customer before you has some type of fungus or bacteria and then the instrument is used on you, there's a chance that it could be transferred. All that bacteria can be transferred to you. How many times have you sat in a seat and gotten your nails drilled and by mistake the nail tech nipped you just a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit, a little nip. Oh, sorry. Oh, that's okay. No, it's not okay because now that dirty implement that I'm using on you, now that I've nicked you, has the opportunity to enter inside your bloodstream, and now you can get infected. Anything can happen because I'm not using a clean implement. So make sure when you go to your nail salon, the implements that are being used on you have been cleaned and sterilized. You don't know? Ask. They're required to tell you. Pay attention to where they're getting these implements from. Are they noted inside of a container that says cleaned? They should be. I just want to make you aware so that you know when you go to the nail salon that you are being serviced with clean tools. Next, let's talk about those cuticles. Now, we all want our cuticles to be neat and clean, but should we be cutting the cuticles? We come in and we have that extra meat hanging over and we want it, or it's snagged or ripped up or chewed up, or however, or it's dry and we just want it removed, and we're requesting that the technician cut it. Or if the technician doesn't cut it, we like, she ain't even do my cuticles. Stop. It is against the law. Let me repeat that. It is against the law to cut cuticles. Every technician knows it. It's against the law. We shouldn't be doing it. Now, are there ways around it? Absolutely. We can lift up your cuticles with the appropriate bit on our drill, and then we can file off the dead skin. The reason for not cutting it is cutting the cuticle area is because there is a chance that while we're cutting that dead skin, we can also cut live skin as well, which is why it's illegal to do it, why we should not be cutting the cuticles. So no one should be cutting your cuticles. If you're asking a technician to cut your cuticles, I would recommend that you don't, because if something should happen, first of all, they're going to be liable, and it could cause an infection for you. So it's a lose-lose situation. Okay. I know we want those cuticles nice and neat, but there are other ways to do it. And all of our nail techs, they know how to do it. They know what to do. But of course, some of them just cut because that's the easiest thing to do. But cutting, no. No cutting. No, 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 no. No cutting the cuticles. Okay. Also, next up, we have those files and buffers. There should be one file and buffer per customer. After I use that file and buffer on you, it should be going in the garbage. Now, back in the day, we used to use it over and over and over and over again. COVID came along and they changed that. And we all know why. Okay? Same thing with the implements. The files and buffers should not be reused. They are a one-time use instrument. And the only time that we should be blah, 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 blah. The only time that we should be reusing the file and or the buffer is if I'm reusing it on you on your next service. So I set this file and this buffer aside so that when you come back, this particular buffer and this particular nail file will be used on you again. I use it on you when you came the first time. I'm going to use it on you when you come the second time. I'm going to use it on you when you come the third time. You don't see many nail salons doing that. You will see private technicians doing that. They might have individual packets set up for each client that comes to visit them with their particular implements in that to save. So they're not wasting nail files and buffers. Some nail salons will even say to you at the end of your service, would you like to take your nail file or buffer home with you? Because we're going to throw them away anyway. So we offer them to you. You might want to take them home. You might want to clean up your nails on a regular basis. After a few days go by, you might want to refile your nails or whatever. So we'll ask you if you want to take them home. Some of them will, some of them don't. Feel free to even ask them, hey, can I take my nail file and buffer home? They may even say yes. Just food for thought to let you know what can be done and what shouldn't be done. Next up, let's talk about those pumice stones that we're using on them feet of yours. If you don't know, the pumice stone is a porous substance. What is a porous substance? That means it's holding everything in it. That means I can't get it out. When I start scraping on your feet and the dead skin goes into the pumice stone, I can't take that pumice stone to the sink and rinse it out and wash it and scrub it real good and it's clean. I can't. All that stuff is soaked in there. Um, just like if like when you have a dish rag and you wet it, all the water soaks into the dish rag. That's a porous material. So is a pumice stone. Hence, should only be used one time. You'll find that some salons will use pumice stones repeatedly. uh, a telltale sign that they're reusing pumice stones is that the pumice stones will be large. In other words, if they're using disposable pumice stones, usually the disposable pumice stones are the size of those little mini buffers. They're very small. If you see that they're using a large one, let's say about 5 inches long, about 2 to 3 inches wide, it's probably being reused. Are they reaching in there into their pocket and getting their pumice stone? Pay attention to these things because you do not, I repeat, you do not want a pumice stone used on your foot that was used on somebody else's foot. What if I have foot fungus? And the pumice stone that was used on me is now being used on you. You will now have foot fungus. Please don't let these salons reuse these pumice stones on your feet. Okay. Also, when they use that little cheese grater thing on your feet, it looks like a little cheese grater and they scrape. Those are illegal. We can't use those. We're not supposed to use those. Don't let them use that on your feet. First of all, they're cutting into your feet. They're cutting into your skin, and they're taking off too much of your skin. They're taking off dead skin and live skin. And then your feet are going to be rougher than they were when you first came in. Those two are no-nos. So keep your eyes peeled for that. When you go into the nail salon, I want you to be educated so that you know what should and should not be done for your safety. Also, let's talk about one last thing here. Let's talk about that monomer. When you go into a nail salon, the liquid that they use when they are laying the acrylic on your fingernails is called monomer. They dip their brush into a liquid and then they dip the brush into a powder and they lay it on your nails. That is acrylic. And the liquid that they use is called monomer. There are two types of monomer. There is an MMA and there is an EMA. The EMA is legal, the MMA is illegal. Let me repeat that again. The EMA is legal, the MMA is illegal. The MMA is illegal to be used on nails. Back when acrylic first came out, they used the MMA. The MMA was so harsh on the nails, and there were so many complaints being filed of how it ripped up the nails and caused damage to the nail bed that they banned it. It is banned in the U.S. No particular state, every state. The MMA is banned from being used on nail beds in the U.S. Now, this same product, MMA, they use that now in the dentist's office to make prosthetic limbs. Excuse me, not prostates. Oop. To make prosthetic limbs, they use the MMA for. So we don't want to be using it on our nails. How can you tell? You cannot tell. First of all, the nail tech can barely tell. It has a stronger odor, but because you are not around it all the time, you really can't tell the odor. But what you can do is you can ask your nail tech, what type of monomer are you using on my nails? And when they tell you, if they tell you it's MMA, that's a legal one. You can also request to see the bottle of the EMA. Don't be afraid. This is your right. You're paying for this. You want to make sure the right thing is being put on your nails. Another telltale sign that MMA was used on your nails is when it gets soaked off and it turns gummy like chewing gum. That means MMA was used instead of EMA. If it turns like a cottage cheese, then EMA was used, which is the appropriate product to be used on your nails. But if it gets gummy and it pulls away like chewing gum, that's MMA, and they use the wrong product on your nails. So just be mindful of these things. I'm not telling you this to hurt anybody, to hurt any salons, but I just want everybody to be aware, well educated. We want, when you go to have your nails done, it's supposed to be a great and wonderful experience. And we want that experience to carry over after you leave. And the only way it can carry over after you leave is if the appropriate measures are taken when the service is being rendered to you. And you as a client need to be aware of what service is the right service and what service is an inappropriate service. So I hope this helped you to be aware and to be conscious of these things when you go to the nail salon. Just, we want you to have a safe service. That's it. Okay. Thank you for joining in today. I'll see you next week where we'll have another interesting chat about nails. So tune in and see you later. Bye, friends.